This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Today is Tuesday, September the 24th, 2024. So glad you could join us. Coming up a little later on the program, we'll talk with Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net to get our closing market recap. But right now, let's kick things off by talking with Lisa Coffelt of the Iowa Renewable Fuels Association, talking to us about a rebate program available for farmers to get biodiesel for this harvest season. We're talking with Lisa Coffelt. She is Marketing Director with the Iowa Renewable Fuels Association. Lisa, thanks for taking some time to talk with us today.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so what we're talking about today is some on-farm biodiesel credit programs that you've got going on. Tell us a little bit about what is going on with those programs and what those can do for farmers.
Yes, so it's a program. This is the second year that we have hosted this program, and it's kind of a collaboration. It's with the Iowa Soybean Association, along with a couple biodiesel plants here in Iowa, Western Iowa Energy, Western Dubuque Biodiesel, and Chevron Renewable Energy Group. We've all donated money. And it is kind of a credit or a rebate back for farmers that use a biodiesel blend. They need to have the fuel delivered to their farm tank. If they use B11, it's 25 cents per gallon. If they use B20, it's 50 cents per gallon, and it's a $500 cap for all farmers. So it's a great way for farmers to be able to try biodiesel and to get a little money in their pocket while doing so.
Now, what was the response we saw last year with the program?
Fabulous response. We ended up having a total of $47,000, and we used it all last year. We kind of put a caveat on it this year, meaning if you've already received the credit, that we kind of wanted some other people to have another bite at the apple. So we're kind of asking people, if they've already received it, to just hold and see if we can share the wealth with a couple other farmers. So this year it's a little slower going, so we're really trying to get the word out. We still have plenty of money left, but it's pretty easy. We have an on-site link on our website where you just fill an online application and you kind of attach a PDF of your purchase or your biodiesel purchase. And then we, as an IRFA, we just cut you a check and we send it to the farm.
Now, are we seeing, obviously you said you want to get the word out to farmers. I mean, do you think that would be something we'd be seeing definitely more of an uptake there, but there's obviously must be some room for growth in that market if we're putting an incentive program on it, correct?
Yeah, I think Case IH and John Deere have done a fabulous job of helping promote biodiesel, and you can use up to B100 in some of those engines. So we just need to make sure that we're getting out to all of Iowa. Some of the rural areas, maybe it's kind of harder to get out and let them know about the credit program. So we're just trying to be patient and see if we can just spread the word and get it out to everybody.
All right. And if you want to remind our viewers where they can go to find that form and get more information on what they have to do.
Yes, let me make sure I say it correctly because it is kind of a mouthful. It's at iowarfa.org/Iowa On-Farm Biodiesel Credit Program. So it's a link. It's just a web page. I think there's probably, 5 questions like name, address, that kind of thing. It's pretty simple. Shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. And then we'll process that internally and we can send out a check for $500.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything we missed that we would like to talk about yet for those Iowa farmers?
No, just we're trying to get it out. I know harvest is right around the corner and people are already busy, filling up their tanks. So do it quickly and see if we can spread the word as fast as possible.
That's Lisa Coffelt with the Iowa Renewable Fuels Association. Lisa, thanks so much for taking the time to visit with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
And if you want to sign up for that program, you can find it in a link on our website at iowaagnet.com. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we'll run down the closing markets. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. We're back here on Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Time for our closing market summary, and we're talking right now with Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. Ross, what did we see in those grain markets today?
Hey, Dustin, we started off a very firm day of trade again. Soybeans, they were the big story here again today, as they found strong follow through after yesterday's big start to the week. At one point, beans were 20 cents higher. They did back off going into the close, and we ended the day about 3 cents higher on beans. Corn, it was higher also right out the gate, and had a firmer day of trade, but it ended the day in the red, closing around penny 1 to 2 cents lower on the day. And over in the wheat market, wheat was anywhere from 3 to 6 cents lower between Chicago and Kansas City wheat.
So we saw soybeans explode out of the gate there. You set up around 20 cents. What was the reason for the pullback right at the close?
I think the reason for the pullback is the biggest struggle right now for the bean market is how much premium is enough in this market. And there's a combination of reasons of why we're finding this premium. Obviously, there's several different opinions out there, but the one reason when we started the week of trade yesterday was South America is leaning on the dry side. It right now is their dry time of the year, but it has been historically dry. Now it's early. October is when their rains start to develop, October, November timeframe. And one of the weather guys that we follow, he's still forecasting rains to start here in October and looking for normal type rains as you work through October. So when you look at, we're right ahead of the gut slot of harvest here in the U.S. and some of these early bean yields and corn yields that you're hearing they're as good as advertised. And so I think for beans, when you look at the U.S. situation of the potential for a 550 million bushel bean carry out, that's a ample supply of beans. And when you look at the world number, that we have an ample supply of beans. So I think the big question is, how much premium is there? It's safe to say there's probably 75 cents, if not $1's worth of premium at today's high of 10.58 on the November. And that's probably enough premium for the time being. And I think that's why you're starting to see beans pull back here today. It'll be interesting to see what tomorrow brings, but they definitely, I mean, they closed, it was about 15 cents, 16 cents off their highs is where they did. So there's definitely some areas to watch on the charts from a technical perspective on beans, of some clear lines in the sand.
All right, moving over to the livestock side of things. Let's start with cattle. Ross, what did we see there?
Mixed day of trade. Feeder cattle had a very positive day. October feeders were $1.30 higher. They definitely led the way. The rest of the curve was up 20 to 30 cents. The live cattle market nearby October was traded unchanged for a lot of the last hour to two of trade, but they ended the day 5 cents lower. The December was 57.5 cents higher. October and December, they remain above their 200-day moving average, and they're finding good support. Cattle have been on, it's been a big rally after the big sell-off that we had coming out of August. I mean, this rally, there's some clear lows in for right now across live cattle and feeder cattle, very similar to the corn and bean market. And the timing wise, them lows were about the same. They were put in the same time. But I think cattle, they've been finding strong support. Cash trade has been higher here the last couple of weeks. There's hope that cash could maybe, I would think it'd be steady, but there's hope that cash could be another $1 higher here this week. But I think given how sharp this rally's been in cattle, people need to be mindful that we probably are due for a pullback here. Hogs, it was a very quiet day of trade. December hogs ended 10 cents higher. The trend remains up for hogs, but hogs, similar to cattle, it's been a really strong rally that they've had. So I think people need to be mindful that at some point hogs are due for a pullback as well. Hogs, similar to live cattle, the nearbys remain above the 200-day moving average, and I think that's a very good line in the sand. You start closing below the 200-day, I think you could see a further setback.
All right, if folks want to talk more markets with you guys at agmarket.net, what's the best way to do it?
You can reach me at our office here in Anthon. Our number is 712-373-3276, or you can visit agmarket.net.
All right, Ross, we thank you so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks for having me.
And that was Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and look at the closing numbers on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen. December corn was down 1 3/4 at 4.11 3/4. Soybeans up 3 at 10.42 1/4. Soy meal down $2.90 at 323.60. Soy oil up $1.33 at 43.95. Chicago wheat down 4 1/2 at 5.78 even. Kansas wheat down 6 1/4 at 5.71 even. Minneapolis spring wheat down 7 1/4 at 6.11 3/4. Oats down 3 3/4 at 3.65 even. Live cattle down a nickel at 183.20. Feeders up $1.32 at 245.80. Lean hogs down 17 cents at the close, 82.12. Pork cutouts up 12 cents at 91.75. Class 3 milk down 48 cents at 23.31. And that's been a check of our closing market recap, and that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, X, and on our YouTube channel. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified each time we put out a new video project. Don't forget about our 3 free market podcasts with analysis coming to you openings, middays, and closings. You can find that on Amazon, Apple, Google, Spotify, and Podbean, and online at iowaagnet.com. From the IRN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.